This is your friendly neighborhood Manny Moonraker, and this is episode 224, the UBR UFO News Report. So, like I said, I'm trying to get as many episodes as I can before next week, because I will be on holiday. If you're out across the pond, I will be on vacation here in the U.S., and however else they say it anywhere else, I just won't be here. But I'm going to stay up until the wee hours of the morning to make sure that there's something playing on UFO Buster Radio every single day next week, Monday through Friday. I'm going to pick some interviews to throw in there. The first two that we know are going to be on there, we're going to do a repeat show of Dina Ray and Sawyer's interview because they were the most recent. And then I'm going to throw some random shit on there for you. So, fuck it, I'm just going to throw whatever I can in there so you guys can listen to it. But in the meantime, we have a news report to talk about. And if you haven't done this yet, you want to follow the podcast on Facebook. The Facebook page is UFO Buster Radio, Manny Moonraker, and on Twitter at UFO Buster Radio. I would say the Googles, but they're shit out of luck. They closed down the account, a few months ago. But so I do hold on to that account so much because I had so many followers on there, and now it's abysmal right now. It really is, because the Twitters just don't cooperate. I've got a Twitter bot running on there 24/7, getting all the UFO sightings off of Twitter and reposting it to the channel for UFO Buster Radio on there, and I don't know. It's really weird the way that works. I just can't seem to get some traction. And by the way, let's talk about traction for a moment, because it turns out that somewhere in Texas, there will be a digital billboard. And you guys have seen this, especially when you drive at night. These things are bright as fuck. They blind people. I don't see why accidents on highways have not gone up ever since these digital billboards have been out there. But somewhere in Texas, in the next couple of weeks, not next week because I'm not going to be here, but sometime before the end of the goddamn month, right before July the 4th, you will see the Moonraker's big head on a digital billboard for UFO Buster Radio, kind of like an advertisement. If you see it and you take a picture of it, I will give you $100. That's all I gotta say. But you gotta be looking at digital billboards. You can go out there, stand out there for like 5 minutes, and you see me show up, take a picture of it, let me know you saw it. If it's successful, of course, it's like a test run. I'm gonna 410 out there in California. I'm coming your way. You'll see my ugly mug over there too. And you're wondering, what kind of a podcaster does shit like that? I do! Because I've always told you guys, this is better and greater. This is the year that it's going to happen. We are going to run over a lot of people and things and aliens. Oh my, it's going to happen. This is the year where things get crazy. And the Dark Horde LLC, it's what's going to get the ball running, so to speak. But anyway, we're going to talk about this. And you know what? One more thing before we get into the news report about what's happening with Trump Force. There is a question that I got from someone on UFOBusterRadio.com. I'm sorry, no, not .com. Actually, on the Facebook page UFO Buster Radio. That question was, who in the world is it that performs the song, This Is the End of the World? The name is really hard. It's like, it sounds like someone... It's like Sven Smavinson or something like that. No, it's not. It's not an English name, no. But to you, the individual who wanted to know the person that wrote that song or performed it, I am going to respond to you on the Facebook page UFO Buster Radio, and I will let you know the name. Like I said, it's not a lot of the songs that you hear on here come from the company, the media company called Epidemic. And so it's all licensed. So I'm not really sure how would you even be able to get a copy of it. But I'll get that information to you before I go on vacation. I've had you on the back of my mind, but I keep dropping the old ball. There's nothing better than seeing an old familiar name in the chat box. And, Zachariah is probably one of the only people besides Ronnie Dawson who's always on there. Not always. I'm sure Zachariah's got other things to do. But he always checks in. Zachariah right now checked into the Spreaker.com chat box. What's up, Zachariah? He says he'll be watching up here in the DFW area. You know what? The weird thing is, I did look in the DFW area because, as you guys know, that if you've been listening, if you're not hiding under a rock somewhere in podcast land, you know that I'm no longer in the DFW area. But for damn sure, I know plenty of people up in DFW, and I look to see where I can find those digital billboards from this particular company that's making the offer. And Zachariah, I'm sure you're familiar with I-35 right before it crosses Lake Dallas. And there's a digital billboard there that one day I will appear, I'm pretty sure. But listen, let's just put that aside for a second. Because, in the past, I kept on saying, I've said, hey, what is going on here? Why is it that every single outlet over the last 2 years has slowly gravitated towards the so-called soft disclosure? The whole ET is coming out. The government is saying, yes, finally, I'm going to let you know little by little. I'm going to give you little crumbs here and there. I'm going to let you see what's under my skirt, but you're not going to see the whole kit and caboodle yet. That's basically what they're doing. They're giving you peeks under the skirt, but they're not going to let you see anything. They're teasing us. And this particular outlet, which, I really haven't seen a whole lot of UFO stuff from them. But like I said, the bandwagon is getting bigger and bigger. I mean, you might as well call it a chuck wagon, right? Because everyone's eating off of UFOs now. There is just no way around it. Everyone is having their kittles and their bits from the UFO story. Vanity Fair is now no longer a stranger to that particular situation because they print. Now, listen, first thing I want to say, before you look in the description, before you do anything, I am not making a political statement by using this article. As a matter of fact, the only part that you're going to think is political is what I'm going to read you, and that's the headline for the article. The article is, please God, let it be aliens and not Trump's Space Force. People always are. Listen, whether or not he's a good president, I don't even care anymore. But the fact is that haters will hate, and that's the way it is. So to me, that's funny because, haters can basically make a profession out of this. Sitting around just hating, writing bad reviews and hating on everything except for their own lives. When they probably do, I'm not going to lie. So here's what the subtitle to this is. It appears the U.S. government is softening us up for a revelation. Hallelujah! Either regarding extraterrestrial life or a world-disruptive military technology. It's sad to say that alien life seems like a safer option. Now, here's the thing. Don't take that to heart. Don't take it to be a slant on Trump, Space Force. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't get all hung up on that. Yeah, they threw Trump in there because what? You put a hashtag Trump, everyone's looking for freaking hashtags that have to do with Trump. So, of course, Vanity Fair, you come up easy peasy, 1, 2, treasy, right? Because everyone's looking for Trump. They want to know, is he going to be impeached? Well, let's look up for Trump. Let's see if he's going to be impeached or not. And what happens? They come across this fucking article about aliens. And, of course, the title for the article pretty much says, if you're a Trump hater, shit, you better hope aliens are coming to probe you in the night, in the day, whenever you're not looking. Now, this apparently was started by the fact that, again, for the quadrillion billionth time that the Navy decided that they wanted to publish those new guidelines. I'm telling you, it's like people just jump on these things. I don't even care about the guidelines anymore. I don't care if anybody in the Navy at this point reports anything. Because I'm starting to feel like this is a big fucking setup. I feel like, oh, by the way, I just said that, and I talked to Big O. Some of you remember Big O, some of you don't, because it's been a lot of fucking episodes since he's been around. I talked to Big O actually yesterday, and he says, I have a new theory. Fuck my life. I didn't even think Big O even thought about theories, let alone aliens and UFOs. But he came up with a theory. And I said, listen, you want to talk about this theory, bruh? You know where I can be found. Because I know you know. If anyone knows, you know. So you bring your happy ass on here and let's talk about it. Let's let the people hear your theory. And good luck with that. Anyway, so basically what they're saying, here it is. The Navy's there. They've got this new guideline for reporting things. And it's basically to softly let us know that there's other shit out there, but they want their people to feel okay with reporting it. That's interesting. The article itself is actually pretty good. I'm not going to lie. You guys should read it. One of the things that they pointed out was that there is a movie that came out a couple of decades ago, and the plot or the story behind the movie is that the government basically, and it apparently it was Ed Wood's 1959 film, Plan 9 from Outer Space. Plan 9 from Outer Space. And in the movie, apparently Ed Wood suggested that even a deadly invasion, I mean, we're talking about a bunch of ships coming down and killing people, could be hidden by the government if there were a low amount of casualties. Now, the question is, why hide it? Why hide it? Why would you hide that someone came from deep space, came down, killed about maybe 24 people, and then went on their merry way, right? I mean, what are you going to do? How are you going to defend about that? How can you explain to people that you've lost control of your entire country, your borders, your skies, everything, and someone can just come in, knock off a couple of people, and just leave? Yeah, that's kind of scary, isn't it? Isn't it? I mean, I don't understand with all these stories about UFOs and things like that, why people are not losing their shit. It makes no sense to me. Do you remember back when Pearl Harbor happened? You know, you can, I don't remember. I wasn't there. But, you know, I saw the videos. I saw the news reports. I read about it in history. You know, people were on red alert. People were just going fucking nuts. An airplane went by. Oh, shit, everybody run out of the damn desk. Get under the desk. Why isn't this happening now? Why is it that it's okay? Why is it that it's okay to just have, shit flying over our skies, running circles around our military, and then I've got to go get some donuts. The boss needs a report tomorrow morning. Something's not right. There's this. Sigourney Weaver did this to us. I know she did. Her and fucking aliens. She was kicking that alien's ass over several movies, and now we think it's okay for the government to just be like, there's nothing, it's nothing. Yeah, fucking Tic Tac UFO, really? I don't know. Sometimes I think I'm alone in this. I don't know. I don't know. I can't do it. The article continues to say that one of the major vehicles in question, of course, is a gigantic Tic Tac. Is that the same as seeing a gigantic Cheeto? Because I'd go for a Cheeto, believe it or not. And he says that the Tic Tac, for all intents and purposes, was bigger than a commercial plane. Well, we know for a fact it was a little bigger than that F-18 Super Hornet, right? Because that's what the witnesses described. Able to hit hypersonic speeds, whatever the fuck that is, right? Because, we're a common folk. We don't know what the fuck hypersonic speed. We can barely do 85 without getting a ticket. The other things that it was described as part of the witnesses was the fact that it had no source of energy, no propulsion, nothing. It was just a fucking Tic Tac flying through the sky, folks. Why isn't that alarming to people? Why is it easy to assume that it was some kind of technology issue on the F-18 Hornet? Why is it easier to believe that an entire flotilla of the U.S. Navy got fooled by a drone? Why is that? Does that make any sense to anybody? Like, if I was in a town and all the cops in the freaking town decided that some dog really was a menacing mass murderer, I'd have a problem with that. I'd be scared shitless. But what if the dog really was a mass murderer? No, I'm just making shit up as I go along. I really can't do this. The other thing they quoted was what happened in the summer of 2014, 2015 over on the East Coast. And part of that was a particular unidentified flying object almost crashing into another military jet. Where do we draw the line? Where does this alarm anybody? Some of the guesses that people have been talking about since all these stories have been just, hitting the press and going on YouTube and, on podcasts, on fucking TV, what they're guessing is this. It's either U.S. drones. Fuck no. I don't know. It's hard. In a way I do, in a way I don't. That's a big-ass fucking drone. What the hell do they need a drone that big for? The von Neumann probes. First time I heard of this term, von Neumann probes, and apparently these are self-perpetuating extraterrestrial crafts. Basically, this is just fucking Tic Tacs that stop off wherever the fuck they want. They have endless energy and they just do whatever. I guess they get sent here to check stuff out, run around, dip into the water, come back out, do a little show, get the fuck out of Dodge. Really, what's the use for that? Well, I guess scientific exploration, I guess you could use a von Neumann probe. And the other thing is disinformation campaign. Basically, all of this, it's a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of just, trying to confuse the topic, as people have been saying ever since Roswell. That this is all disinformation trying to confuse people. Politico apparently says that the advocates for the Navy say that the new UFO reporting rules is just a way to change the culture in which personnel feel that speaking up about it could hurt their career. No, fuck. Are you serious? Why wouldn't they still feel that way? Does that even make any sense? Are they going to become heroes now? Hey, I just saw a triangle craft. Can I get my career moved up? Can I now be a colonel? No! They're going to watch you like a hawk. Are you shitting me? This is not going to be the easy path for anyone, especially not those in the military, pilots, commercial pilots, forget about it. Somebody make some rules for them, because that's fucking crazy. They see just as many as anybody else does. But the one thing this article says, which is kind of speaks in a lot of ways very true, and that is, what if these Tic Tac UFOs are not alien? What if these Tic Tac UFOs are not American? What if these Tic Tac UFOs are Russian or from China? What then? Really, that is the premise of this entire article, and that is, what if? Wouldn't you then wish it was some kind of crazy alien that drops a baby in your belly? Would that be better for you to accept, right? That it is some crazy ass probing UFO, that's out there doing all kind of shit, experimenting, taking cows and mutilating them. Would it be better to accept that than knowing that a country like Russia or China actually has discovered a way to make extremely advanced drones like the Tic Tac and is running circles and just running rampant all around the country, all around the world, all around your country, wherever you're listening? Which one would be better for you to accept? It really does give you food for thought in this. It isn't amazing the way it really takes this route of starting out with Trump and then ending up with, maybe it would be better if the shit that we heard from all these witnesses was that it was alien or one of these self-perpetuating crafts, rather than a superpower that, for the most part through our history, has had nothing but negative intentions. That really just struck me. Fuck. I'm ready to get probed. I'll take one for the team. I'd rather take one for the team than have China or Russia rubber dick us every which way but loose. I'm going to be honest with you. And I know many of you feel that way too. That probably could be, the worst thing that could happen if that's the case. Because at this point, publicly, they've kind of shitted on the entire world. If that's the case. Something to think about, I think. The other thing is that the Tic Tac situation, it has changed a lot of things, right? Because in some of the legacy UFO sightings and some of the things that's happened in the past, you have like maybe one, maybe two witnesses, right? And every time they come to question as to whether or not they're sane, whether they were having a bad day, are they going through psychosis, are they on their meds, did they drink too much? Were they doing the tweeds, Were they snorting some cocaine or something? The difference with this whole Tic Tac situation, and, you got to give props, you got to give some stuff, you got to give some accolades, wherever. Whatever it was that got Commander Fravor to speak, and then everyone else after that, let's give that situation some props. Because there appears to be some question as to whether an individual actually worked for the Department of Defense in the whole ATIP program. We're not going to talk about that because from the beginning I've said it from the beginning, that dude is pretty fishy, but the jury is still out on that. But let's get back to what I was saying, right? And it is basically, we have now, just like the father of ufology said way back when. He said, credible individuals, credible, professional, educated individuals. We have military service women and men, pilots, people on the ground, people on the ships, who were trained to look at these things objectively. Not to bring in their hopes of riding on a BMX with E.T. in the basket in front of them. No, these were people who are trained, who were out in a training mission initially. And then stuff happened. Stuff went wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, you really have to consider where this could all lead. Because I guarantee you that maybe they're right. Maybe it is better to be faced with the idea that this might be an entity from 4.2 far than to think that one of those scary superpowers that could give two shits about your freedoms has some kind of a advanced craft dancing around your military, making them look like hairy apes instead of advanced sentient beings. That's the episode for today. Listen, I thank you for listening. I'm going to try to get back tomorrow. There's a lot of packing I got to do for my vacation. But next week, every day, I will play something. As a matter of fact, if there's something you want to hear in one of those interviews that you recall from way back when, you can send me an email at UFOBusterRadio at Gmail, should I say, UFOBusterRadio at Gmail. If you send it to me, I'll dig it up from somewhere and I'll play it. But for my dear friend who was asking for the song, or the title to the song, This Is the End of the World, I'm going to play that for you because shit, I'm telling you, if it's Russia or China, we're all fucked. No lie. Ciao.
watch the satellites explode. It must be bad news, so